everybody, SonGoshuaku here, and welcome to my podcast review for WWE Extreme Rules 2019. But first, make sure to hit that subscribe button followed by hitting the notification bell so that way you are notified as soon as my content is released. Let's kick off things with the kickoff match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship, Finn Balor versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Basically, you could just tell the WWE right now doesn't care about the Intercontinental title. They just put these guys, it was just sad. Nakamura and Finn Balor putting these guys here on the kickoff show and not even putting much into the Intercontinental title. It's just sad. This match was not as good as their NXT match they had a few years ago, but Nakamura picked up the win with two Kinshasas to the back and front of Finn Balor's head for the win. And as much as I would love to say that, hey, maybe this would be something nice for Nakamura, it'll give him a nice lengthy reign with the title and actually give him some meaningful matches on pay-per-view, it's probably not going to happen, and it probably basically means more hot potatoing with the Intercontinental Championship. And then we go to our next match on the kickoff show, which was for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. Drew Gulak defending the title against Tony Nese in what I thought was a really good match. Great wrestling, great high-flying action, just great stuff that you would come to expect of the Cruiserweights. And of course, Drew Gulak picks up the win to continue the championship reign. And as always, it's sad that these guys are not on the main roster, but that's where the company positions them and feels that they're best utilized on the kickoff show, because no doubt these guys definitely have performances worthy of the main roster. Now let's move on to the opening match, which I was actually shocked. This is the first time the Undertaker opened a match since I think almost a decade ago nearly. Hell in a Cell 2009 against CM Punk in the Hell in a Cell match. But yeah, the Undertaker and Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre. I was really hoping Michael Cole would say, "Here comes the big dogs," or whatever he says. But anyways, the match overall, I would actually say for an Undertaker match was probably one of the best matches, or just the best that Undertaker has looked, I think, since, maybe in almost 4 years probably. It's been a while. But yeah, the match was definitely hard-hitting. The thing starting off, however, is this, which was a common theme, is it's a no-holds-barred match, which means that if all competitors want to be in the ring, there's nothing the referee can do to stop them, but yet they have the wrestlers going ahead and standing on the outside of the ring. All right, whatever. Anyways, the match overall was really good. You had Roman doing, his shtick where he comes in, does all the heavy-hitting moves. The Undertaker, like I said, looked really good in this match compared to what was his match was like with Goldberg. He had a lot of good stuff. Shane McMahon hitting his spots, the elbow off the top rope into the announce table, the coast to coast. Elias interfering. Would have been nice if the Miz could have interfered too as well and get some payback. It's a shame. I think what they've done, Miz really has yet to get his win against Shane McMahon. And overall, though, in the end, the Undertaker gets the Tombstone victory. So I'm very glad for the man Mark Calloway, the man behind the Undertaker character, because you just gotta know with how much pride he has in the industry that he was finally, and he looked at the end, he looked relieved to be able to walk out of that arena knowing that he put in a much better performance than what people probably perceived of him in that match with Goldberg. And I think one thing it proves is that yes, the Undertaker can still go to a degree, not like he used to back obviously when he was in his prime, but you get him in there with some of the younger talent, he can hold his own is somewhat there. Personally, still though, even though this was a great match, honestly, if this is how the Undertaker goes out, to be honest, I think it's fine. Like I said many times, I think the Undertaker personally has nothing left to prove in this industry, but we'll see where it goes. Maybe they'll put him and Drew McIntyre in a match, and hopefully he puts Drew McIntyre over, because obviously at this stage of the game, Drew McIntyre still has his whole career ahead of him. The Undertaker, like I said, he's done it all and everything, so much respect to him, and I'm glad he was able to wipe the taste out of that Goldberg match. I think it may have just been something unfortunate with the Goldberg getting the concussion earlier, and yeah, that's why the match just fell apart. But you even had a nice emotional moment with Undertaker. I think he may have mouthed the words that this is your yard now, so you get like a cool respect closure to the Undertaker and Roman Reigns feud, I guess you'd say, just going into WrestleMania 33, which I was there in Orlando for. So hopefully it's the end of this whole Shane McMahon best in the world stuff. Or if it isn't, at least let it finish at SummerSlam with Miz finally getting that big victory, and then we can just call it in for this. And now moving on to the Raw Tag Team Championship match, the Usos versus the Revival. Obviously, they've done so much goofy stuff with the Revival and the Usos and the storyline. It was time. Let's have a serious match between these, and they've probably had so many on Raw already. I don't really follow the week-to-week shows like that, just kind of their background noise, honestly. But overall, this match was good, back and forth, hard-hitting action, and the Revival picked up the win at the end, and that's great because, yes, the Revival should be booked as a strong tag team, and I imagine WWE probably wants to try and make Revival as happy as possible, so that way when their contracts come up, they re-sign with WWE, so we'll see where that goes from there. But yeah, I would love to see they push the Revival into a more serious light in terms of the storyline build up. Probably not going to happen, but we'll see where it goes from there. Then there's Aleister Black versus Cesaro. You put these two on paper and you're probably expecting a hard-hitting, spectacular match, and that's exactly what we got. But the whole storyline build-up to Aleister Black for almost 2-3 months just pleading for someone to go ahead and have a match with him is, I thought, basically ridiculous, because think about this entire company's history. How many times have we seen wrestlers who couldn't get a match just come out there in the middle ring, just like Rey Mysterio did this past Monday night on Raw, and go ahead and do like an open challenge? And yeah, they didn't do this with Aleister because I guess they couldn't figure out what to do with him. But nonetheless to say, this match, yeah, like I said, it was very hard hitting, just a lot of great spots, like Cesaro, he catches Aleister, I remember at one point catches him in midair, so Aleister basically his knees is all the way up on Cesaro's shoulders, and just pure strength launches him into the air and hits him with the uppercut. That was just cool stuff, and the black mass kick at the end was just amazing. Too much stuff to say, so definitely I would recommend watching this match, but this is a great start to Aleister Black on the main roster. And next we have the handicap match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship, where Bayley defended the title against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. For the most part, I've actually really have enjoyed this storyline. It's just unfortunate they had Nikki Cross lose to Bayley after she had defeated her in the storyline, because basically that could have been a really great launching pad for Nikki Cross, and then you could have built up to something later. But however, Bayley ended up going against the odds and decked out the victory by hitting, I believe it was Nikki Cross with the Bayley to belly, or maybe it was an elbow. I forget how she defeated her. But yeah, Nikki Cross did take the loss. At the end, it looked like Alexa Bliss was still like consoling a friend, as opposed to looking like she was ready to attack Nikki Cross. So we'll see where that ends up going. There was no Sasha Banks return, so we'll see where that goes. Bayley, though, still the SmackDown Women's Champion, and to be honest, I actually have enjoyed this storyline much better than the storylines revolving around the Raw Women's Championship with Becky and Lacey for the past 3 months. All right, we're going to go ahead and talk about the last man standing match between Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley. No, hats off to both these guys for taking a storyline that I feel a lot of people really didn't care, or I guess you could just say a feud that people really didn't care too much about from what I'm seeing among the fans, and they honestly stole the show on Monday Night Raw a couple of weeks ago. I enjoyed their Super Showdown match, and it just didn't make sense that you would have the shenanigans of, what was it, the arm wrestling match, then the actual match, and then, okay, I'll see if I can beat you in tug of war, when ultimately beating them in the match is what would count. But honestly, this whole thing got overshadowed, thankfully, to that amazing part they did on Monday Night Raw where they went through the Titantron spot. That was an amazing spot, and if Paul Heyman had something to do with that, man, that was incredible. Nice little taste of things to come. I just didn't like that they had Bobby Lashley come back so quickly from that. But Braun Strowman did a tremendous job all through the match, selling as if he was still affected by that Titantron spot, and these guys went at it. They brawled all over the ring, all over the, pretty much into the crowd, to the outside of where the concession stands were, back again. It was just good stuff. There was a spot where Bobby Lashley picked up Braun Strowman and ran right through him through the barricade from the outside, from where the fans are, which is nice. I appreciate that, because we always see the spot where they go through it from the ring, but to do it from outside where the crowd is, that was cool. Yeah, just some really cool stuff. But in the end, they went to this higher platform, and Braun Strowman did the running power slam through this platform. It was real dark, so you couldn't see where they landed, and they ended up doing with the referees counting, and before the 10 count ends, Braun Strowman just breaks his way through the wall, like the Kool-Aid Man, oh yeah, and stuff like that. And Braun Strowman walked away looking a beast, but Bobby Lashley looked really strong. So yeah, very good stuff. I'm hoping to one day see a Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar match. So I don't know. Hopefully we can get that, since Lesnar's staying with WWE. But yeah, this really made Braun Strowman look strong. Kind of like the way he was in that 2017 push. So definitely, let's see where this goes from here. And now we're going to move on to the triple threat match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Tucker and Otis, Heavy Machinery, versus the New Day, comprised of Xavier Woods and Big E, versus the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Rowan and Daniel Bryan. So it was tremendous triple threat tag team action, going back and forth here. A lot of crazy moves. Everybody got time to shine. But in the end, it is the New Day, to my surprise, that pick up the win. I thought they were going to go ahead and have Daniel Bryan and Rowan have this title, because I thought they gave these tag team titles to Daniel Bryan and Rowan as a way to give them something to do, to still be highlighted on TV, since they had to cut Daniel Bryan's title reign short so that Kofi could be in the main event now. But looks like instead the plan is to have the New Day have all the gold and silver, I'll say in this case. But hey, shout out to Daniel Bryan. Shout out to Daniel Bryan, who has really put over the New Day big this year. So once again, the New Day is on top, and just shows how selfless of a star Daniel Bryan is. And so we'll see where this goes. And I think though this feud has done a lot better to really showcase Heavy Machinery compared to what they were doing earlier on this year with them. They really allowed them to have their time to shine, and I think that's pretty cool. Next up, we had the United States Championship match, Ricochet versus AJ Styles. Now, I know last time in my Stumping Grounds review, I said this sounds like an amazing match, and instead of giving it first to us on the WWE Network special, as a network special pay-per-view, whatever, they gave it to us on Monday Night Raw, and they had AJ Styles beat Ricochet one night after winning the U.S. title in a non-title match. Then you had Ricochet go ahead and get his win back the following week, and then instead of just leaving it there for a while, we get the feud where, because they reformed the club, and then we come here to Extreme Rules. And there we have it. It was a good match. Once again, excellent match. They've put on 3 great matches, but in the end, after much interference and distractions by Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, AJ Styles picked up the victory with a super, from the top rope or middle rope, a super Styles clash, and gets the pinfall, and AJ Styles is now the United States champion again. I understand Ricochet's mic skills are obviously not the best when you compare it to everyone's roster. It definitely needs a lot of work, but it's unfortunate. You know, like I always hear Paul Heyman, that expression that Paul Heyman uses to showcase a talent, strength, and hide their weaknesses. So, you know, give us less of Ricochet on the mic and more of Ricochet in the ring. Or if you do want him doing more promos, then give him a manager to be his mouthpiece or something like that. I don't know if that was a big factor in why they took the title off of him so quickly, because that's more of what I was saying about the Intercontinental Championship earlier in the review, is it's more this hot potatoing of the title, the mid-card titles. And it's just, you know, it would have been nice if this whole thing was a nice launching pad for Ricochet to be highly featured in the mid-card, and we could see where we go from there, because AJ Styles is the established star and everything. So we'll see where they end up going from here. So yeah, it's a shame that all this was just to give Ricochet basically one title win, one successful title defense, and then it's over with. And I really thought they blew through this whole AJ and Ricochet feud so quickly for 1 month on Raw and everything, instead of, you know, being able to build up to the pay-per-view match. And there goes my Rey Mysterio and Ricochet match that I wanted for SummerSlam. And quite frankly, after the way Ricochet and Rey Mysterio were both booked this week, I'm guessing we're definitely not getting that match. They really took both those guys down a notch. Now, Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler. For those of you that follow the Steve Austin podcast, you will remember that Steve Austin had no issue with Kevin Owens using the stunner as long as he wins. And well, in terms of this match, I will definitely say it strongly preserved the legacy of Stone Cold Stunner being a devastating move, because literally the bell rings, Kevin Owens hits the stunner, 1, 2, 3, it is over within seconds. And that's it for you. There you go. You know, booking of Dolph Ziggler like this is definitely what I feel has led to so many fans souring on Dolph Ziggler, and those who are still big fans of Ziggler really wanting, just even more wanting him to succeed and stuff. So it does suck, and I'm a Dolph Ziggler fan, so it does suck that he has to get squashed like this. But Kevin Owens cut another promo, which he did a fantastic promo, I thought, on SmackDown. And he once again cut another promo where he was all fired up and just talking more about Shane McMahon. So we'll see where they go from here, if they're going to do another KO and Shane McMahon feud or whatever. But yeah, it looks like KO is becoming an anti-hero type character, and the fans are loving it. So let's see where it goes from here. All right, the WWE Championship match: Kofi Kingston versus Samoa Joe. Once again, Samoa Joe always does a fantastic job with the promos, and he pretty much dominated this whole match, and was constantly trash talking Kofi. Kofi got very little offense in, and everything with this match. It's funny how Samoa Joe even ended up in this match, given that he lost clean to Ricochet, and just because he attacked Kofi Kingston, he's awarded a championship opportunity. Okay, but anyways, yeah, in the end though, I believe Kofi gets the Trouble in Paradise and gets the pinfall to retain the championship against Samoa Joe. And that is the story of Samoa Joe's run on the main roster in WWE. He talks up a big game, is a vicious heel, tremendous. We all pretty much look at it and go like, man, he would make such a fantastic heel champion, and he loses. And now Joe will probably go back on to attacking someone else. Maybe he'll, I don't know, I guess Nakamura is a heel too, so who knows, but it's just unfortunate. Hopefully Joe, before he retires, does eventually get a nice run with the WWE Championship to complete his whole professional wrestling career. But I am glad Kofi Kingston retains the title, and they've done a very good job making him look strong. In fact, I think his only loss was to Samoa Joe in that tag team match, since I think ever since Daniel Bryan had screwed him out of that gauntlet match before WrestleMania. So yeah, we'll see where this goes. But right now, the entire New Day is conquered SmackDown with the WWE and Tag Team Championships. All right, now time for the co-main event, and you'll see why I say that later, for the WWE Universal and Raw Women's Championships, an Extreme Rules mixed tag team match where challengers Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans challenge the Raw Women's Champion and Universal Champion, respectively, Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. Whew, that was quite a mouthful to say. But, yeah, this match, once again, just very much like the No Holds Barred match, you would think with the storyline and with Lacey Evans constantly getting under Becky Lynch's skin by taunting her man, that now that the rules basically doesn't say that you have to stand on the apron because you'll get disqualified for being in there 5 seconds if you're not the legal tag partner, what's stopping Becky from going after Lacey? So it's like they do this thing where they're supposed to all be heated rivals, but they'll still show enough respect for one another by hanging on the side of the apron. There's nothing in the rules say you can't. It should basically be a tornado style rules because the referee is basically there to count the pinfall or submission. I guess the only thing is that the men have to pin the men and the women have to pin the women in this in order for for it to count. But anyways, yeah, I just haven't been a big fan of the storyline, honestly. I mean, it started off pretty well, but should have ended right when it did. At least with Lacey Evans and Becky, she tapped out twice in less than a second from being put in to disarm her. At least with Baron Corbin, he had referee issues and stuff to kind of go on and make excuses up. But nonetheless, you got table spots, you got Kindle stick spots in this match and everything. There was one point where Becky Lynch was out of commission and Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans were beating the crap out of Seth Rollins with a Kindle stick and everything. But eventually Becky gets in there. I think makes a huge comeback. I think Lacey gets laid out by Becky. But the big part of the match happens at the end when Seth is down and Baron Corbin takes it upon himself, just very much like Lacey Evans did earlier in attacking Seth Rollins. Baron Corbin attacks Becky Lynch, lays her out with the end of days, and this enraged Seth Rollins, and they were trying to sell this as a devastating move, which I mean as a devastating heel. It was a heel tactic, obviously, but given that the match, there was nothing in the rules said that the men and women couldn't fight each other in the match. It was basically just him being a competitor and a heel, basically, with it. And it was really cool to see WWE book a scenario like this, basically, in terms of the intergender stuff, because most times it's very one-sided where the women are on the offense and the men are on the defense. But here it was very much equal. You had Lacey Evans, who attacked Seth Rollins earlier in the match, and Becky Lynch came in to defend her man, just like you had Baron Corbin attack Becky Lynch, and Seth Rollins comes in to defend his woman. So if you do intergender stuff, more stuff like this, I think it makes it really better, which creates great heat in this scenario, because Seth Rollins got enraged just like any man would if they see another guy lay out their woman, and basically he went all out with Kindle stick shots and steel chair shots and just whooping the crap out of Baron Corbin. And once again, they find a way, after all the crap she talks, for Lacey Evans to basically just look not credible, where when Lacey saw all this going, rather than try to win the match, she ends up walking away. Yeah, she just dipped. She dipped on the match and said, screw it, winning the women's championship is not worth it. And I thought that was like, wow, they just had her leave a championship match in a pay-per-view main event. So yeah, and with that, Seth Rollins gets the curb stomp to Baron Corbin, 1, 2, 3, and retains him and Becky's championships. But like I said, that was the co-main event, because now it is time for the real main event, where Brock Lesnar came out ready to wrestle with the briefcase and basically went to town on Seth Rollins with 2 German suplexes, cashes in Money in the Bank, grabs the Seth Rollins up onto his shoulders, hits the F5, 1, 2, 3. Brock Lesnar is now a 3-time Universal Champion. Honestly, Brock Lesnar and them putting the title on him, it is what it is at this point. I like what is the Will Smith mean? I'm not even mad. I'm not. The thing is, I just wish Seth Rollins would have had a more variety of opponents to work with during his Universal title reign, because they pretty much, outside of the one time he faced AJ Styles after WrestleMania, they pretty much used his whole entire reign to face Baron Corbin. I would have much rather seen doing a variety of this. So that is what it is. It's going to be interesting to see where they go at for SummerSlam here, because if they're going to follow their no rematch clause rules, and that means Seth Rollins is out of the Universal title picture. And obviously, I don't know if Sasha Banks is coming back. Maybe she is. Maybe they'll do her and Becky as a match at SummerSlam, because I don't know if Ronda's coming back. So yeah, let's see where they go from here for SummerSlam. I am interested to see what they're going to do for a main event here. That said, guys, hope you enjoyed my podcast review for Extreme Rules. Overall, I thought it was an okay show. There were some good points, and then there was some kind of meh stuff about it. I'd say it was okay show overall. I thought it was a lot longer than it needed to be, honestly. That said, guys, make sure to subscribe here to me on YouTube, as well as hit the notification bell and follow me on all the social media platforms you see at the bottom of the screen, as well as check out my upcoming short film Battle Deception, which is on the screen right there. And also, all links are in the description below. Until next time, take care.